our skin color, our religious belief, practice or none, our gender, our sexuality and our ability or disability should not, and it must not, be the reason for anyone or a group of people to marginalize, criminalize, penalize, victimize, hurt and harm us.
What we need to do is to work even harder, and it is to push things, push it further, push the boundaries, question situations that are around us. And as I say, if we keep doing that, things will get better because we've still got a long way to go.
Racism should not have any place in our society. However, the opposite is the truth. The brutal reality, racism and acts of racism still exists within our communities, as does the practice of injustice and inequality. And none of us should tolerate this, and hell, we should not be part of this.
The racism in our country now is real. It may be slightly more subtle than the racism of Memphis back in the 1960s, but it is just as real, just as corrosive, just as terrible. And my dear brothers and sisters here, we're called now to challenge it. Wherever we see it raising its ugly head, not least looking at ourselves for some of us and challenging the racism in ourselves, acknowledging it, repenting of it, seeking to change.
I want our region to stand up and show that there is no place for racism within our communities, and encourage people to instead to promote equality, tolerance and respect towards one another.
If you see it and you do nothing, nothing's going to happen, and it will continue. If you feel it yourself, that means somebody's going to see it. So do something about it. You know, it's very important that we one to another, we help each other, because it is difficult, you know, because I felt it myself. I understand how deep and how hurtful it can be, and to deal with it on your own, it's super difficult. So please make sure that if you see or feel racism, make sure you get the right support and make sure you report it to the authority.
Today, our society, our community, our cities, towns and country are a lot better, respectful and non-racist place than it has been for far too long. And that is because we all have contributed in so many ways to challenge such unacceptable behaviors, and our collective actions from today onwards will dictate and determine how long more it will take for our minds, our actions, our institutions to challenge the deep-rooted inequality, for us to prevent unacceptable actions of injustice and to eradicate racism.
We're not perfect in this great northeast region of ours, nearly perfect, but not quite perfect. It's a marvellous place. I've fallen in love with the northeast in my time here as the Bishop of Newcastle. We're not perfect, but we can take a proper pride in the times in this region when we've been our best selves. And there are times when we have been wonderful and continue now in standing against prejudice and racism wherever we see it. But we can't be complacent. We need to be our best selves. I am so proud of our Lord Mayor of Newcastle for leading this today. And I'm humbled to be invited to stand shoulder to shoulder with him as we give racism the red card.
I quote Angela Davis, "In a racist society, it is not enough to be non-racist. We must be anti-racist."